Hi everyone, today is Saturday, June 16th, and this is Professor Deskins. I just completed grading your week 5 assignments, and so many of you did well. Actually, everyone has done well. There are some that we need to get more details in to meet the rubric requirements. I know I sent a lot of information via email this morning, but I'm trying to explain what the rubric may not be made clear to you, especially in the segments of C and D, which is in marketing strategy number 2, Roman number 2. There is talking about the identifying the marketing strategies, what you would avoid, explaining why, and then also outlining the 4 P's, your price placement, promotion and product of the strategy that you're not recommending. Now, I did try to explain that what a channel is, which is what we learned the previous week in week 4, and what the strategy is. You can use channels such as social media or television or whatever it is you want to use to get your product out there, but you still need to have a strategy, which is an outline, a step-by-step process, a plan of how you're going to implement that. What I think is the most important thing for you all to remember is that when you're creating your marketing materials, when you're writing these assignments, think of it as you presenting to the corporate leaders, all of your bosses, managers, whoever is requesting that you promote the product. You will have a set budget, even though this is theoretically your own company product. Just assume that you have the money, that you have the means, even if it's a new product. If you want to take the route of that you don't have the financial means to promote your product, then at that time you can use social media for a channel and a strategy, but you need to explain why you would use social media. Social media, which is what we've learned this week in week 6, has the opportunity for you to promote your product, connect with customers for free. You don't have to worry, and you do still need to worry, and you still need to have a plan, but it's instantaneous access. You have over 250 social media channels that are out there in the world. Most of us here in the United States will think that there's only 3 or 5 social media channels, and whether or not you're familiar with them, with the implementation and use of smartphones and the technology improving, as marketers, we thrive on that, and we use those tools to help us. We didn't have a lot of these tools years ago, and technology is helping us to make those connections. It's helping us to identify with the consumer. Social media helps us to have a dialogue. We can go on Instagram and upload images. You can use Pinterest, which is mostly, it is an image-driven social media platform. But Pinterest, believe it or not, as of last year, I had read an article, actually I received statistics back on a website and company promotion I was working on, and Pinterest actually outweighed Facebook. It came down to Instagram was number 1, Pinterest was number 2, and Facebook was number 3. And even so, as a marketer, you can use any of those means. And so when you're looking at this marketing strategy, you need to remember everything you write is in detail. In addition to your APA format and having proper grammar and proper spelling, which are very important, because I will say, as a marketer, the last thing you want to do is to have a billboard or any kind of printed material or anything on a website or social media and have spelling errors. If you're not gonna pay attention to grammar and spelling, the marketing aspect of it's going to be lost, and you could cost your company a lot of money, and you could ultimately lose your position as their marketer. So you need to know that this goes way beyond just what this course is asking for, or what I am instructed to grade upon according to the course rubric. And when you outline, as in the marketing strategy 2, part D, when you outline those 4 P's of that strategy that you would not recommend, or the strategy that you plan to avoid. It does state that you need to, provide the details of the strategy, and it says, and then it asks, are there changes that you could make to the 4 Ps that would make the strategy more likely to be successful? So if, for example, you said that you did not want to use television as a strategy, and you explained why television would not work. If cost is one of those factors, that's fine. However, once you get to D and you outline your price, place, promotion, and product, when you're looking at that strategy, look at what you could change on those 4 Ps. If it comes down to, well, we don't have the money for television advertising, you may not have the means to advertise on a national level, but you could always advertise locally. There's a lot of local channels in many neighborhoods or in a large city surrounding your neighborhood where you can contact them and they will tell you that you could reach 500,000 households or whatever the number is. And those are actually quite affordable. A lot of cable channel networks, they offer small businesses opportunities to advertise, and these are things that you need to investigate, which is another reason why it's important to cite your information and find outside references and resources that will help you reach these consumers. It's not just a matter of, here's Dr. Deskins requiring this or requiring that. Yes, these are part of what the university requires and what the course designers required for us to follow and what I have to grade upon. But at the same time, think of the bigger picture. Think of you as a marketer, how you're using that company's money. If you're standing up giving this presentation, you want to have as many details as possible because you barely have one shot to reach these business leaders. And with that one shot, you don't want to leave any open questions for them to say, well, why would you use this? You want to be able to provide upfront details to explain, well, this is why we're going to take this and this. When you provide the details, especially, how you're doing it now with your assignment papers and in your discussion post, by the way, when you're providing more than enough details, you're proving that you have investigated your product, you've investigated your demographics in your market, you know everything about that product, or you do the research so that it looks like you know everything. You may not know it all, but you try your best to make it look as if you do. So that's where your outside references and your outside sources come into hand. You can, because Google Analytics, for example, which is in our SEO SEM course, Google Analytics is a huge driver and on how it connects your product to the consumer, and it will show you down to the age, just like with this SRE that you guys are citing. It shows you the demographic information, but Google Analytics goes even farther. And this is the type of information that you want as a marketer. So I'm trying to help explain why we ask for the information we ask for, and try to help you to get these details out, and you have to put it in writing. And if you're using Word, which I believe many of you are, please run your spelling and grammar check in Word before you submit your paper. I know a lot of you may be rushed, but again, you really want to avoid spelling errors and grammatical errors because, again, in your role, in any kind of professional role, if you make a mistake, you're going to miss out. You may end up losing your job. And it doesn't matter if that mistake happens to be, you miss a free throw on the basketball court, or, any other, or you miss giving attention to a customer if you're in the retail business. The one last thing I would like to strive is that I'm here to help you succeed. And that's why I've been sending out communications and feedback and emails and announcements to you all to let you know if you're running behind, to please let me know that you are planning on resubmitting to a corrected assignment, or that you're planning on submitting a late assignment. I know the university has a 10% late penalty, and if you're more than a week late, I know that we're instructed to not provide feedback or grade. However, we're getting towards the end of the term. I don't want anyone to be failing, and if you choose at this point where I hate to say you're going to give up, because that's really not the best option. Sometimes it may be the option, and then you can come back and retake this course. I don't know who the instructor would be at that time. Could be me, could be someone else. But my goal here is to try and encourage you guys to, get everything submitted and, follow all of the steps in the rubric. And if the instructions that are written above in the rubric are not very clear, when you scroll down the bottom of the rubric, which I did attach, and it's in all of your module work, it's in all of your coursework, if you scroll down, you'll see a table or just a chart, and there's boxes there. And you have the opportunity to earn 100%, which is exemplary, 85%, which is proficient, which is still good because it means that you understand the material, 55%, obviously we know that's just a little bit better than half, so that's, needs improvement, and then not evident is 0%. So as an instructor, I really only have 4 selections to see if you've met that criteria that's in that specific box. While we would like everyone to hit exemplary, sometimes it may not be possible, but if I can find the details are there and it looks like you understand, I give the benefit of the doubt, and I will give you the next higher box that I can select. Not everyone reaches exemplary, which is fine. Proficient is really where you want to try and be. However, many of you are meeting exemplary, and you're providing statistical information. You're providing more than enough information, and that's the best you can do, and that's really what we like to see. And when you're talking about your target market, don't just say, I'm reaching out to this age group. We need to know where. You have to explain to your company leaders, where are these people coming from? Are you planning on focusing in your local neighborhood where your company is located? Are you going to be a local business before you have a plan to expand nationally or potentially globally? So when you're thinking of demographics, it's everything as it shows in your rubric. You have your target market, you have your demographics, which is where people live, their ages, maybe their lifestyles, which goes into your psychographic, what their personalities may be. And your geographic information is actually your location. If you skip any of those, I have to knock you down to the next lower grade, which is what I hate to do. Again, I'm here to try and help promote you, to get you out there to, think bigger, write more. Don't just provide one sentence. That doesn't give detail, and that's not going to suffice. If this is your goal to be a marketer, you have a lot of data that you're going to be presenting, as I said earlier. When we get to your final articulation of response, or your writing mechanics, I see a lot of you have definitely improved on your APA formatting, so I'm not marking you off heavily in those areas because I do see a lot of improvement. I will say that there are a few that have copied a reference from an outside source, which in your Turn-It-In report, it comes back as a flagged similarity, or also known as a plagiarism report. We don't want that. So if you're going to copy a reference, that's fine, but make sure the reference is correctly formatted in APA format. Don't just copy and paste it in without looking at it, which a few of you have done, because then you're going to get marked off for that, because it's just incorrectly formatted. And APA, it has one way to do it. So anyway, I know this has gone long, but I wanted to reach out and just kind of recap everything. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you would like to resubmit this assignment, which I hope several of you do that missed some of these segments, please let me know that you're going to resubmit it, and let me know when it's done so I can look for it and regrade. Any of your other late assignments or previous assignments, if you have not submitted, let me know if you're going to submit so that I can at least give you a grade. You're not able to do discussion posts, but you can do assignments and redo those. Anyway, I thank you guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the classroom. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.